Hello, friends, and welcome to Bert and Ernie, or whatever we are these days. Do a REL 1 and 2A recap. This is week 3, which means it is a replay review week, so we're going to watch a couple of replays instead of going over the teams. The first replay that we're going to take a look at is from Div 1, and it is going to be Strategic Cheese and REL. Shall we see the... Do you want to just go right into this? Or do we have more preamble?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Sweet. In the game. We don't have any spoilers because we're already loaded in. We are paused at the setup. We've got the non-anime sports team by REL, Helves, and we have Cheese Tactics, Mark, whatever they are now, from Strategic Cheese, the Orcs. And we will see how it goes.
It is Mark II.
It is Mark II.
They've been Mark II for a very long time.
Yes. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong division. I was going to say, like, what their sort of records are so far. But Cheese lost in week 1, and then lost in week 2. So we'll see if he can turn that around against REL, who won his game 1 and won his game 2. So, you know, everything set aside, you'd sort of expected REL as the favorite here, and I believe both of us predicted REL.
I have a lot of REL stock. Yeah.
I believe both of us picked REL for this one. So
We did.
let's see how it goes, shall we? Are you ready to go?
Let me just pick my bag of Doritos off of the predictions.
Ah, good. Yeah, that's important.
There was a photo created or generated. Oh, we can do 3, 2, 1, and then I'll talk.
Sure. 3, 2, 1, play.
There was a photo generated when I was down visiting Ben of me slouched at like a 90-degree angle on a couch with a bag of Doritos on my chest and a beer in my other hand, just like reaching into the bag like a zombie. And it was the most like appropriate Shadorra photo that has ever been created.
Just nerd stereotypes.
I meet a lot of them.
That's true. The first 2 games she's had were against Nurgle, so there is that aspect. Myself and the other Nurgle Atomics. It looks like Cheese is going on offense here first. Elves are set up in the pretty typical defend my good players setup.
I don't love this as a choice. I get that the Elves don't have a bench, but still, I think you'd rather let the Elves try to whittle the Elves down a bit than force them on defense immediately when they have full strength, when they're going to be the strongest on defense. Potentially.
He also may just be banking on the fact that he's going to get a bunch of Mighty Blow hits on the line right away and can probably, turn that into some player advantage. So I think there's an aspect to both here.
Mighty Blow on Armor 8 does not remove that often.
No, I guess it depends on how confident you feel. Like, sometimes as Nurgle against Elves, I'll often want to go on offense first, even though the common wisdom says not to. Just because...
That was a bit risky, it must be said.
My only way of winning is removing, and it's my best chance to get some removals is the free 3 hits. So, there's aspects to both of it. But yeah, that was a little risky.
He did not cover the ball at all if something had gone wrong.
There's that thick skull troll. What a hero.
Oh, no blitz. All right.
You might be ahead, but yes, you are. No blitz. There wasn't a great... The only people he had really left were Black Orcs, and if the Black Orcs blitz,
he had a blitz.
Probably worth it.
He could have covered the ball with someone. I mean, he didn't want to go in with the frenzy, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah, there weren't many good options left, but you probably could have mitigated that with a little bit of planning.
Mighty Blow hit on this niggled guy. Does get the knockdown.
Which is a good plan. Just target those niggles. Yeah, and that's what niggles do, right? Just targeting the niggles with your Mighty Blow. Eventually
that was the niggle. The niggle what done it.
Niggle what
that
done
was
it.
That was an 8, and you needed 10 to get a Kaz, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
10, 11, 12 was a Kaz.
I mean, he did get a little bit lucky in not having to use the Mighty Blow to break the armor there, but the niggle is what pushed it over the edge.
Yeah, it would have been a KO if not for that. And Cheese did not Apo or did Apo? Did not Apo. Does fail his first dodge, so has set up a bit of a loose screen, but nothing too serious. Is going to take a hit here on his best support guard.
It's an important piece, so targeting him is a pretty big deal. We do find the armor break.
KO on initiate. Piles on the KO.
That's aggressive, and I don't particularly like it, especially this early.
Well, I mean, he's doing it, I think, because there's a babe in play, but it's still a 3+. I wouldn't toss this around so casually.
I mean, if we were closer to the end of the half, like if it was turn 6 or 7, I think I'd be okay with it because there's a babe. But there is a chance that we turn that KO into just a stun, and on turn 2, that's just removing or stopping what is currently a removal for the rest of the half, at least, which makes a difference. But if it was turn 6 or 7, I think I would agree with the piling on there because of the babe, but not this early.
No, because if that turned into a stun, you just gave your opponent a player back.
Like a free Apo.
It's also important to consider what, going down players for the current drive does.
Yeah,
Cheese
exactly.
has got his guard well positioned here. Lets him...
And this is difficult for the elves to push through.
Push here. Well, if he leaps in, he can't get a 2-die.
Yeah, because we've got guard on the corners, and one of the front guard, the more exposed one, is the stand firm guard as well, so he's not really very easy to push out of the way, even though there is a potential chain push on that guy. He's got stand firm, so we're good in that aspect.
We are going to be giving away a Mighty Blow hit from the troll onto this blitzer for that.
Yeah, we are exposing an elf, and it's a rookie blitzer, but it's still a blitzer.
Armor 8 is Armor 8. Sometimes you can take it as high elves, it's fine.
I think that's true.
But she's elected not to go for the Mighty Blow 3-die, which I probably would have. But...
I would have just done it later in the turn.
Bro does a 1 in 9, so he's got Juggernaut, though it's fine.
If his plan for this turn involves making sure that elf is down, I agree with that, because he needs to guarantee that it's at least moved, and if that troll boneheaded, he doesn't have that option anymore. Or I've really
now, I've seen some fireball cubes that I would not take. This ain't one of them. I'd take this.
That's
You could fireball the niggled. You could fireball the double niggled. Oh, no, it's a movement bust. And there's the fireball that I was...
It's quite a fireball bait cube.
It's okay. It's not great, but not bad.
Does that expose a hit onto the ball? No, because we didn't knock down the guard piece, annoyingly enough.
We didn't get the one of the crucial pieces, but admittedly that was unlikely to get a hit on the ball, but it is going to put a lot of pressure on the orcs this.
Yeah, and knocking down the movement 5 and the movement 4 in the troll limits the orc movement, certainly, because they don't have very much. I was going to
say, we're going to see a lot of aggressive basing up this turn, I think, and if you can tie up all the tackle and get something sticky on the ball, he might be able to. I mean, there is no tackle standing. Oh, he's going to foul.
I mean, that was certainly a tempting fireball, but I mean, fireballs are just generally rough, especially against armor 8 and 9. Like,
it's a stun, though, on the tackle, the most available tackle piece.
Stun on the tackle is nice.
Giving away a block here on him from the Black Orc, but it is a loner, so he's not too sad about it.
No, it makes that Black Orc essentially useless, and it's just a loner elf, so who cares?
I guess while it was a tempting fireball, it was effectively a contrition fireball. The odds of you actually getting a removal there, or the ball popping loose, I mean, unless you literally took the ball carrier down, were pretty low. I might have waited to see if you could force him into a more awkward position and use the lightning bolt.
Yeah, the lightning bolt as the elves is just so much better than a fireball, unless the fireball is incredibly lucky, and it doesn't often get incredibly lucky. Hello, cat. Say hello.
Okay, so this is an opportunity here. Look at this fucking chain push. You can easily chain push the ball into a blitzable position. Easily.
On the where? Oh, yes.
Because of the troll.
Well, the troll is stand firm.
Oh, never mind.
The troll and the Black Orc are both stand firm. You'd have to use the blitz to do the.
It's true. He doesn't have a juggernaut. I mean, you can just blitz the ball, though. It must be said. We can't be because he lost his guard piece. So
there's a guard on the front and a guard on the back, so there's no way to get a 2-die on it, and I don't even think there's a way to get a 1-die on it unless the elves have a guard lying around somewhere.
No. He had a guard, but it was removed. So if you still had your guard in play, you could jam it in there and get a 1-die, which would totally be worth doing. But as it is, you didn't have anything. That cat is always unhappy. It's just the natural state of being for that cat. She's using a team reroll to get a surf here. He did give away this surf, so
You're slightly ahead, but yeah. It's I
was
mean,
it one die? Ooh, and he is rewarded.
it is a okay. Well, you're definitely ahead because he is now surfed and rewarded. Yeah, the surf. I agree with it. Taking the surf opportunity is a pretty big deal. It's a guaranteed quote removal, at least for this half.
Yeah, and she says 4 rerolls. So if you're going to commit a reroll to something, that makes sense. But it is a bit risky.
And you're not often going to be able to get as many
Yeah, but
blocks
he had
as
a
you'd
one
like
die
against
as a
elves.
follow-up. So if that one die had been a skull, he just had to eat it, and the ball was not the safest thing at that point.
But the reroll was for the first block, right?
It doesn't matter. Yes. The
Yeah, but
second one...
But so he didn't get the choice because he had to reroll the first one.
Oh, there's a dub skull. On the troll.
Like, you couldn't have planned for that because...
Sure, but so the point with greed rerolls at this stage in the game are fine. I thought this is a hit on the ball. If you want it.
No, I think I like that. Just removing elves in any way that you can.
Yeah,
makes
but
your drive much easier.
He would have been fucked if he rolled a 1 on the second hit, on the second roll, right?
Yeah, sometimes you got to take risks, though.
Doesn't elect to reroll? That was interesting. Why wouldn't you reroll that hit?
Yeah, I'm not sure. The strip ball isn't going to do anything.
Yeah.
He did dodge out to prevent the counter surf.
Which is good, but yeah, I don't understand why you don't take the...
Yeah, why would you not attempt? It's not like it's a dodge piece or anything. You need a 5 on...
It's like 55%, yeah.
On one die, so if you dedicate a reroll to it, it's, you know...
Yeah. So yeah, that's the biggest thing. Like, Cheese could have instantly lost that drive if that second thing had been a 1. And, you know, that happens 1 in 6 times. So it was risky to greed reroll early in a turn where you need to continue rolling dice to not lose your ball. It, like, obviously worked out and was a value play, but could have gone so horribly wrong.
This is quite a cube, and it's very hard to see what's going on.
I think he is chain push surfing.
Yep.
I think he made this harder for himself by doing that. Yes, he did. You could have done it... All right, this works, but I think you could have gotten a double surf out of this. Okay, you didn't need to do that. Oh, for the 2 die, though? No, to make it a 1 die, right? Because it's strength.
He's the strength 4, but surfing the strength 4 is such a worthwhile thing here.
Yeah.
The strength 4 is terrifying to these orcs, and him being gone, even just for the half, is really valuable.
Yep. And Juggernaut there made that a 2+, and he did still have his reroll for the turn. No, he had committed it, I think, already. Did not get a 1, so it's fine.
I didn't get a 1. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. The elves are certainly suffering some attrition here. I mean, the orcs are kind of sticking together in their big old clump, and the
elves are also rolling garbage dice.
And they haven't rolled very many dice so far, to be fair. But yes. I mean, the elf defense has been pretty aggressive. But to be fair, in the other way, it is now turn 7, and Cheese is 1 square over his own LOS, which he's going to have to make some pretty serious progress.
Accidentally activate Juggernaut? I think he did. It's fine, never punished. Yeah, I mean, the Mighty Blow is really crushing Armor 8 here, which, getting a bit lucky, I think. But certainly punishing some aggressive plays by ArchXL that didn't quite work.
We're gonna have to make a lot of forward movement here, and it looks like we're doing with the big old hole.
He's retaking the middle of the pitch.
Well, he also needs to put himself in scoring position now, and he is a orc thrower, so.
Oh, that's an exposed ball. I mean, no matter what you did here, the ball was going to be exposed.
Especially if he wants to put himself in scoring position.
I mean, it's just a free 1 die, right? Oh, and the troll has 1 in 9.
Tempted to reroll it, Loner.
Oh, you were trying to make the hole. All right, that's fair.
You needed to use the Juggernaut to push the elf out of the way so that there was actually a way through. But yeah, we can just 1 die the ball right now. It is, sure hands block, but that doesn't really matter too much. We're gonna take the 1 die anyway, and we're gonna re-roll it if we need to. If you had put the ball, that's annoying. If we had put the ball 1 square back, that wasn't as available. Oh, no, it was still available from the bottom. although it would have involved more dodges, so maybe it was technically a bit, quote, safer, but then you're also farther out of range of scoring.
Yeah, she's got a little bailed up by this potato.
Well, I mean, he kind of had to be fair.
Yes. In the state of the game as it was, he did have to do this.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He had to move this far forward if he wants to score on the thrower, and he would have only had the blitzer available if he stayed one square back, so you kind of needed to do this.
GFIs.
Scary. Oh, first one failed. Let's try the reroll. Made it.
We have made it.
That was a little scary for Cheese. I mean, there's a reasonable chance that he didn't score there.
I think both players bunged it up a bit, but Cheese pulled it through.
1 Black Orc down, 2 High Elves down. Let's see what these KOs do. It is.
Cheese does have a bench, so Cheese is going to be going in with full strength, and the Elves are definitely not.
They're going to be down 2 currently.
Hey, look, babes. They're done.
Well, they had a bench of 1.
Oh, did they?
I think so. Oh no, that was a Surf. Never mind. So they're down 3, yes. And but they do get a chance to get that KO back with another roll because this is turn 8 now.
It's also oh, never mind. The Orcs have full stand firm, so the one turn is not happening.
No, you set up for you just set up for a riot in case
there's no riot. Oh no, this is the get the ref and throw a rock one.
Yeah. So you just set up in case a riot happens, and then grab yourself an LOS block and maybe a vanity pass, but make sure to give yourself the riot option. But with full stand firm, an LOS or a 1 turn is not really feasible. I'm sure there's something you could do. No, there's no frenzy.
You'd need frenzy to get one of these other players back there.
You could set up for a quick snap, because with a quick snap you could engineer it with where Cheese put this line arc, but
yeah,
I think it's better to just set up for the riot.
Changing weather nice is not what he needs.
Nope, we just get a vanity pass out of it, and we'll probably throw some blocks and see if we can get any removals. Dauntless does not work, but we find a POW anyway.
You're a bit ahead of me, but that's fine.
We just knock over the troll. It doesn't do anything. And then another block on the other stand firm.
And get a mighty blow hit on the niggles. No, it doesn't.
We're going to hit the goblin, in fact, with the mighty blow.
Oh, yeah. Kill the goblin.
Nope, he's fine, because we did it without... We went for mighty blow, but not tackle, but there isn't a combination of both on the team, so...
Sad.
We did that. That is hit number 1 against Baby Swiss in this game. We'll see if we can engineer any more. But that was when I was playing Cheese. Like my entire second half of the game was basically, can I hit Baby Swiss this turn? No. All right. Let's see what else I can do. Can I hit Baby Swiss this turn? No. Babes are fake. Turns out. Fake babes. My cat is just screaming off in the corner, and I don't know what she wants. She's just sitting in the doorway to the room going, meow, meow, meow. And
Melon is a dick. Hey, look, that KO is still out.
Yeah, babes are fake.
I'm just gonna, I mean, also just like piling on KOs. That's fine.
Right, so now
Archixel is on the receiving end of a little bit of rough dice, certainly. His block dice have been kind of garbage.
We'd expect that. That's quite a kick. Although with this thrower, it doesn't really matter that much. And it looks like we're definitely set. She's setting up in the rule, like sort of the protect players setup. But this is going to allow the elves to run forward, put Edhul Kadduin in scoring position, and then also like cage him up. Yeah, with 1 dodge there. So we're going to get a few... Oh, that's going to be a bit of an issue. We elect not to reroll that, but we do already have a couple scoring threats available. So it's not the end of the world. Or was that...
It does mean you're going to take a hit on a good piece here, probably.
Oh, that was a loner, so you definitely don't reroll it.
But he's probably going to take a hit on Edhel for it. I think I would have done some other stuff before.
I think I would have moved Edhel first, but then
he also didn't need to set up to make 3 dodges. I guess he was worried about the blitz, but
yeah, a couple weird things here. I mean, Cheese is allowing this run down the side to happen by the setup, the defensive setup that he did. And then ArchXL putting himself in a position where he can't protect his scoring threats that he's put down as well as he'd like. But we do have still one in still non-megalo blocks, but we're going to have tackle on him, and we're going to have a stand firm blitzer in the way.
He can just very easily dodge that if he wants to score this turn. But
that's true. I mean, I'm too lazy to calculate out the
commits the reroll to that.
I'm too lazy to calculate out the passing percentages here, but I think the idea was to do the pass to the catcher on the LOS and then hand off to Megalo blocks. So that's why Cheese put this goblin here to put a secondary tackle zone on the one elf there. And because of that, it looks like
he can
we're going the other way.
Toss it to probably Keijo and then go the other way.
Which we have done. We're going down the center because of that troll really stupid. And now we are pretty far away from relevant things, although we failed the GFI.
Gonna reroll that, I imagine. Because now he can only be based at if he makes this GFI. He does. So Megalo Blocks takes his free hit, fails it.
And
Comes
Gruyere
in for a hit on the Blitzer. Gruyere, fine.
shouldn't there be an R in there? Isn't it G-R-U-Y-E-R-E?
It's Gruyere, yeah.
Cheese spelling his cheese wrong. You think he'd know better?
It likes to keep the guard stand firm blitzer in his mess of people, which is... Wow! It likes to try to reroll the really stupid again. Jeez. Buddy.
That seems like a poor choice.
2 rerolls in 2 turns.
Both of them on loners. We do get a bunch of hits this turn, even though we can't really stop the high elves from scoring. We can punch a bunch of elves, which is not terrible because if we can put the elves
here.
No, but if we can put the elves in a position where they want to score quickly while punching stuff, that's pretty much the best you can hope for. And he doesn't need to score here right now, but there are threats on the ball. If he tries to stall, it's going to be pretty risky, I think, but entirely possible.
Not at all. 2+ dodge. 2+ dodge, run around, 2+ pass, 2+ catch, sit in the corner. There's literally no one in hitting range.
That's not true. There's nowhere.
Well, you have to knock down this. Now you have to knock down Swiss, but that's it. It's not hard to knock down Swiss. You have a blitz. You can also just screen off potentially.
Yeah, but you don't need to stop the score this turn. Like when you're in this position as a bash team against elves, you basically just say they're going to score, and there's nothing I can do to stop it. The goal is to try to make them score as fast as possible while removing players.
Yeah, but I think what I'm saying is that RHXL could have easily stalled for another turn.
No, Cheese said that he wanted to reroll the really stupid because the only way to stop the score is by throwing the goblin. And I don't think you try to stop the score there. You just accept it's going to happen.
Oh, I see. Yes, but I think RHXL could have stalled this out another turn, and that would have
the KOs
been a good idea. Yeah. That said, no, I mean the Orcs have tons of turns to score. 5 turns is pretty easy for Orcs. So
yeah,
what's nice about 4 turns is 4 turns is at the point where if you're setting up and you've got a good amount of elves left, you can force the Orcs to overextend, which is when things go. I don't think you could though. I think you could have very easily. I think RHXL could have very easily put that ball in the corner, and there was nothing he could do about it as long as he got the knockdown on Swiss the 4.
I would feel pretty confident.
Look at that. Rock skipped.
As Cheese in this position right now, though, full team of Orcs versus a couple missing elves.
Yeah, especially if these blocks go well, and they're going well so far.
Well, there's the first one, which is a KO, certainly helpful.
Second one. Just a stun, but we're going to see a pile on there for sure.
I would imagine so, yeah. There it is.
Armory being a little fake so far, must be said.
Stun is sticking. And looks like we're going to blitz not air gear the thrower here with that assist.
That's 3 really stupids in a row for this troll. Doesn't re-roll this one. The boy can learn.
The troll can't, though. He's still stupid.
This is going to give him a hit back. Alright, so he's just giving away a hit on this lineman, but it is armor 9, whatever.
It was interesting. We can push it back in.
Some boxcars. He's pushing him back into Swiss, I think was the idea.
Well, he set up to do a blitz with Swiss on like not air gear, and then ended up having to do it this other way, which made it a little strange, but it worked out. We do have the ball in the hands of Gouda now.
Free hit here from the thrower. Does get a knockdown. Deserves a removal. Probably.
You're ahead.
Pausing. Let me know when you see the blitz coming.
Knockdown. Here's the blitz from the fancy elf.
Still not Megalobox. Yeah.
I always say blocks. It's not blocks. It's box.
Yes, because it's a boxing anime.
You think I know that?
With kind of weird, fascisty overtones or undertones. It's bizarre. It's hard to explain exactly what's going on in that show. It's a really fun show to watch, but it's got some weird shit going.
This is interesting. REL being super aggressive right up on the ball, and I like that. Cutting off the orcs from their own ball. It's going to be hard to get it defended well. So we'll see what Cheese does here.
Yeah, both of his tackle pieces are on the ground, so his mobility is limited, and they're both tagged up by this lineman.
Throw the goblin.
First action, throw the goblin. Let's go. Oh, Troll does not really stupid for the billionth turn in a row. Are we going to hit with Baby Swiss?
I don't think there's a single player on REL's team.
One die with... Oh, it's a skull.
Baby Swiss.
Oh, Jesus. That's fucking greasy.
Into a KO. Oh
That's
my
some
gosh.
Greasy shit, Cheese. Jesus Christ.
Goblin one dies the strength 4, rolls a skull, re-rolls it into a POW, and then KOs him. Yeah, a little bit.
You're gonna get a POW here too, aren't you? Oh, you greasy bastard.
You're like regressing to Nova Scotian here. You spent too much time here.
I know.
Calling shit greasy. Greasy.
That was some shit though, Cheese. Jesus.
I don't think there's a single
all
player.
I need to do is throw the cubes.
I know I recognize not Girls in Panzer, and I think that's the only name I actually
let's see.
know.
What have I seen?
I don't know any other player on REL.
I know Keijo, though I did not watch it because I'm a man of class.
I mean, okay, like I've never heard of any of those things other than Girls in Panzer.
I know about Air Gear.
I am not an anime.
I mean, most of these shows, I'm not gonna lie, are kind of trashy. And I'm a sophisticated man who watches anime for losing.
Cheese has consolidated his position a little bit here. Got himself a bit more protected, and a lot of the elves are actually kind of marked up in ways that might be annoying.
Nice on the strength 4 blitzer, says Cheese. The KO was nice.
KO was nice, yes.
Also, you know, the frenzy knockdown on the blodger that was on your ball with sidestep.
That guy didn't have sidestep. The one that he just
the one that
killed.
got knocked down. Still not eye shield. He was on the ball.
Yes, but he's not sidestep.
Eye shield is. You're talking about a different piece.
Oh, I see.
No, I mean Cheese only needed a push from Baby Swiss, but still, you know, pulled that out.
Oh, down there. Yes, I see what you mean by eye shield. I thought you meant the frenzy blitz that just happened into a KO, and I was like, no, that was a catcher with mighty blow and block.
No, I was talking about the other ball.
The turn before, or the previous area. Baby Swiss as a cage corner is terrifying, but at least it's the further away cage corner.
There's no leaper left.
No, well, there's not much left in general. Anyway. We're still going to do it. I mean, I would. Might as well. What else are you going to do here?
Kill him.
Bonk. There he goes. Does an injury.
He's fucking fine.
Yep, of course he is.
Orcs going all mans and are getting punched a little bit for it.
Well, when they have quite a bit more strength, quite a bit more guard, and more players than the elves, it's certainly not a terrible idea to do.
Elves just not getting the
on average it should work
just
out.
Getting removed.
On average it should work out for the orcs here, but we'll see.
So making a hole here to push the
Making my way downtown.
Walking fast. Faces past and I'm home now.
Da-na-na-na-na-na. Oh, he's dead.
No. Don't apple the rookie lineman.
Da-na-na-na-na-na.
And I need you.
Da-na-na-na-na-na.
I'm Batman.
And now I wonder.
Yeah, we have fun here.
And there's another one out.
Some more injuries. Armor 8. What a thing.
I mean, there have been a pretty serious number of blocks against elves so far.
Yeah.
Or at least it feels that way. It might not be the case.
It's not trivial, but it's... I mean, yeah, this was an easy one die. Hey, look! One of the one dice worked.
Bonk.
Armor break here would be really nice. Oh, Scatter's kind of nice.
Yeah, well, we can... he's going to try to pick it up. I would imagine so.
He's going to 3+ out, though. I would have probably picked it up on the Blodger, I think.
Well, I think he wants to pick it up with the guy who's not
Yeah,
blitzed.
but he won a 9, so...
I mean, no, I think I agree with that. I mean, you give yourself a 1 in 9, but if you pick up with the Blodger, he's just gonna... He doesn't have much movement left, and he can't hurl it. He's just gonna get surrounded.
Yeah, but he could have outranged every tackle piece that Cheese has. That's not true. He could have... he might have been able to if he GFI'd.
It would have been... It's the tie the gameplay instead of the win the gameplay to do that. Because you're just basically resigning yourself to
he's very much in a lose the game position, so I think you take the tie of that.
I would have gone for the win there.
He didn't have it. Who is he going to pass to? Oh, I guess
the
down
catcher that could just run out of range of everybody.
Yeah, that's fair. So it was a 3+, 2+2+2+.
The catcher was a 3+, but it has a built-in reroll.
Built-in reroll.
And
Yeah,
then there's a dodge with a built-in reroll.
Well, it wasn't that much dice, really. Yeah, and if he had gotten that, he would have been.
He would have won.
Yeah.
So I would.
That's a fair point. I'll concede it. I don't know what the pass would have been. Not the easiest.
Like a 4 maybe or a 3, but you dedicate a reroll to it.
Probably a 3. Yeah, but there's a lot of 3s you needed to roll in that, so I think that at that point the odds of you succeeding were pretty low.
Every 3 but the pass had a built-in pickup or built-in reroll, and the pickup, I guess. But the pickup was a 2+.
The dodge did not have built-in rerolls.
Oh, that wasn't a dodge player.
It was off tackle. So 3+, 2+. Cheese wins the game. And then it was a 2+ pickup. I think it was a 3+ pass, and then a 3+ catch with catch. So the odds of you getting that with a reroll is only 55%. I mean, it's a 55% to then win the game, but
yeah. I mean, I think you take a 55% to win the game.
Yeah, all right. Let's take a look at this. Cheese did make 40 blocks on 18.
That's a lot against
breaks.
elves.
It is. The elves were kind of in their face. High elves tend to be more in your face, and that is a thing. But maybe a bit excessive. That said, the orcs took 28 blocks and only sustained 4 breaks. Those 4 breaks, 2 were injuries. So, hi Melon, you angry cat.
This is what you get when you invade my space. You get tortured. Tortured!
She's got 82% armor, which is pretty good armor. Even for armor 9. What is armor 9?
It's the number 9.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyway, decent armor, terrible injury rolls. The fireball was perfectly average. Cheese GFI'd like a god. Couldn't catch the ball. Could dodge.
I just tortured you and you were upset about it. Now you come back. This is your fault.
Cheese's block dice were weird. He never rolled pushes, basically. RTXL's block dice were garbage.
It was certainly a weird game. Shall we go into game 2? The one from Division 2A?
56% on armor is really like the nail in the coffin. There's a lot of Mighty Blow kicking around, but that's a lot even if every hit was Mighty Blow. Actually, no, there's some armor 7 on the IL, so it's not totally true.
The catchers are armor 7, yeah.
Yes. And there are a couple of them kicking around.
There's up to 4. I think there's a 3 on that team.
So it was very much a game where, like, if a couple of different things had gone differently, ArchXL had it, but Cheese was able to, like...
There's a lot of... It's one of those games that really showcases some things that I've said a lot about, like, variance. In that, like, it doesn't really matter if your dice are garbage all game or if they're, like, really good all game. If you have that one bad turn, like, with one set of bad dice or a critical roll that's bad, you can just lose the game off that. And so, like, dice logs don't really tell the whole story in a lot of ways. But, like, and one of the keys to, you know, winning games and playing good Blood Bowl is try to minimize the number of turns you have where, like, if this fails, I lose. Because there's, you know, if you play 6 games of Blood Bowl and you roll a 1 in 6, in one of those games you just lose. Because...
Yeah, I snaked a GFI against Metal in my clan game that was, like... I mean, there were many things in that game that were game-losing that I rolled double 1s on, but that was in particular a really bad one.
I have the second game loaded up.
Don't we normally do... Oh, no, we do normally do both games, right?
Yep.
Let me get into it.
You don't have to. We could go do the rest of Div 1 if you'd rather.
That's cool. Let's do it this way.
Doesn't really matter to me.
Next up is Lactung Lizards, or Lackland Long Tongue. Lackland Long Tongues.
I'm just gonna let you figure that one out.
Thank you.
You can struggle on your
It's
own.
like fell with coded all for you.
Yeah.
Or Conspiration. Oh. Yes.
It's the Lackland Longtongues, Urs, and some lizards versus Bioware for Life, Dire Sick Fish and his Vamps. We both predicted the Vamps for this one because we thought that, like, if the Vamps had a good chance at a game, it was this one. Just because the lizards were going to be missing some key players. They weren't, and Vamps are, you know, pretty good at dealing with skinks.
There are a bunch of really strong Vamps kicking around, so
yeah, and with,
I'm going to use the washroom while this starts, but feel free to 3, 2, 1.
Do you want me to do that before you go?
No, just yeah, do it now.
3, 2, 1, go. And the Vamps, and since lizards are one of those teams where, like, certain players are very critical, like losing a Saurus is a really big deal because they're so valuable, for example. Stuff like Hypnogaze works really, really well against them, just because, you know,
there's a lot of value in each player.
Yeah, exactly. So
Hypnogaze
lizards has extra value.
The lizards do have the full complement of 6 Saurus and Slibly, so 7 Saurus. Anyone who's played lizards with Slibly and a full complement of Saurus can tell you that never do lizards feel more OP than when you can induce Slibly and have a full bench. That said, doesn't have much going on in the skink department.
Yes.
And
8 of your 11 players are strength 4 or higher. This feels pretty good.
Which is why lizards normally do very well against Vamps. Vamps get by on the fact that a vampire is an incredibly individually strong unit, but lizards can stand toe-to-toe with Vamps and aren't afraid to, like, take blocks from them and things like that. So we thought this would go well for them because the Vamps have really nice skills and the lizards do not. The lizards are carrying 2 rookie Saurus. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'll be right back.
And 2 loner skinks as well. We did want to watch it last time, but this was also a surprisingly interesting one because we predicted the other way. That's not a start we want. Just vampire immediately takes a stun. Is not exactly how you want that to go. And then some of the other games in Div 2, we had already... our matches were a little bit limited in that we'd already watched a few. A lot of people played early. And yes, we did just want to watch vampires. So we start with the LOS blocks, and we find nothing so far. We've just pushed a Saurus back, and we've blocked a Saurus. There's a Bloodlust, but we do get to block another rookie Saurus, and they're all fine. Here comes the bite. There's nothing wrong with wanting to watch vampires. It's fun. And then here comes the Blitz from our very serious vampire friend, Revived Commander Shepherd Vampire. I love when the names are too long and they spill off the card, so it just looks like the vampire is part of their name. Revived Commander Shepherd Vampire. And here's the ball-carrying Thrall off to do his job. Lodge plus movement. The Saurus here, I mean, they're just going to target Thralls, I think. We don't really have much in the way of Mighty Blow. We can Mighty Blow Blitz the Dirty Player Thrall, which is probably a pretty good idea. Can we make it a 3-die? We can if we put the Skink in here, and I think that's what we're going to do, is targeting Thralls. The Vampires haven't made any progress yet. You're not particularly worried about getting in their way. Targeting the Blood Sacks, A, because they're easy removals generally, and B, because you know, the Vampires need them to actually accomplish things a lot of the time, is a good play. Plus Dirty Player. We could have made that a 3-die with a Skink, and we probably should have, because we would have had 4, 5, 6, 7 on that string 3. I think a 3-die was pretty easy and should have been used there. Yeah, that Blotch Thrall has been around for a while. Lizard's not accomplishing a whole lot there. The Vampires are going to get to do a little bit in exchange. Hypnogazing the guard successfully is going to allow us to get a couple 2-dies with these Vampires. This is Guard Vampire actually doing a bit of work here, allowing that 2-die to work out. Double Skull, so we're going to use the first of 5 rerolls. But we find an armor break. It's just a stun. The Vampires are bullying the Lizards a little bit here, certainly, which is something that that can happen, and you can see exactly what I meant by the Hypnogaze being so valuable in this matchup, because all of the individual players are so strong and valuable in and of their own, that Hypnogazing this one Kroxigor let us get 3 Saurus blocks without having to do anything else weird. So just that one critical Hypnogaze makes such a big difference because of how valuable the Lizard players are. And that's one of the reasons why we thought this would be a good matchup for the Vampires. I mean, yeah, he doesn't want to risk his skinks in one way, but it's a loner skink. He has a backup skink, and it would have been a skink that's positioned here. It wouldn't have been... I mean, technically a Vampire could have blitzed him after Hypnogazing this, but then he would have given up on all of the blocks on the line. And I think you trade a loner skink for that.
Am I missing some fun?
Nothing particularly ridiculous. I mean, I was just talking about how, you know, one Hypnogaze on the Kroxigor with guard allowed the like 3 2-die blocks on Saurus for the Vampires. Just reiterating our point about how valuable Hypnogaze is on like valuable individual players in this matchup. And then there's also we targeted the Dirty Player Thrall with the Mighty Blow Saurus with a Blitz, but we didn't make it a 3-die, and we could have. And got punished by getting a Push Skull.
Let's see. Mighty Blow hit coming in on the Thrall. Are we around at the same point? Or?
Yep, it just happened.
Cool.
Dodges out. Does not even need the break tackle. Easy. Break tackle dodge is very fun on Saurus. I mean, it's a 2+ dodge most of the time, and if you do roll that 1, you can just re-roll it. It makes them so much more mobile. It's a lot of fun. I've played with it in Imperium a little bit. I had the dodge skill trigger like on every single dodge my break tackle dodge Saurus made in a game. It was like 4, and every single time he rolled a 1 and had to re-roll it. It was quite a thing. Lizards are basing a lot, but they have armor 9, and the Vampires, like, every time they activate a Vampire, it's another Bloodlust roll. And as long as we keep targeting Thralls, the attrition can work out eventually. We'll have to see how it goes, though.
That was a no reroll jump up and Bloodlust, where I guess there was a Thrall to bite.
There was.
But if you failed the jump up, it would have been an auto turnover on a Vampire.
He could have rerolled the jump up, could he have not? No, he just rerolled he rerolled the GFI, I see. Yeah, well, sometimes.
So that was another one of those 2+ that could easily lose you a game.
Yep.
So this is kind of a... No, it's not a base cage. This is fine. Vamps are safe, but they are punching it out with the Lizards.
Pretty much is what's been
happening. The other thing about this is that the biggest weakness that Vamps have, other than Bloodlust, is the fact that they're pretty slow. And Lizard teams are incredibly fast for their strength. So I know I just said that basically players of the same strength were both slow and fast. But in this case, it's like Lizards can very easily, with all of their pieces, including the Kroxigor, keep up with the Vamps. So it's very tough for the Vamps to run the lizards without like a good breaking away point, which, spoilers, this right-hand side now is, but you can't really get out of range of Klopek, the blodge break tackle.
No, not particularly. But I imagine we target this
tackle palm hit
on the skink. Here we go.
You don't pile that on. The lizards do have a babe. I wouldn't pile it on.
Bonk.
Especially because the vamp is in a good position right now.
Now somehow you're ahead. But, you know, it's fine. Remove a skink, which is reasonable. Even if those lizards do manage to turn you over now, they only have 2 options for retrieving the ball reasonably, and one of them is a loner. Hypnogaze, again. Accomplishing a thing. I don't know. Is that yes? Because that's going to allow us to get a block over here, right? Not if we bloodlust. I mean, we can still block, I suppose, but that is going to limit our options for the final vampire a little bit. Because I don't know if he can get to the back of the cage, but if you bloodlust it, which he does. You're gonna have to bite one of your cage corners. Oh no, there's a thrall on the ground there. He's hiding. I didn't see him. This matchup is very weird. It's one of the reasons why I thought it would be cool to take a look at. Is, you know, vampires are very good at you know, sort of singling out a player and being like, you don't get to do a thing now because of Hypnogaze, and lizards are the team with very high value individual players where Hypnogaze is very valuable. You know. The linemen on vampires aren't necessarily expendable, so you can't really tie up Saurus with them. But vampires are incredible skink hunters. There's a lot of back and forth, and I think it's pretty interesting. We do find a knockdown on the Warden.
Vamps are going to be pretty tied up here.
Yeah, can we... No, that was a blitz. But we can mark up the ball carrier pretty easily, and we do even have tackle on him, so it's one of those precious vampire
I might have liked to
rolls.
see this blodge step go somewhere. I don't know where, but somewhere. That was a 6+ Hypnogaze, so fair enough.
I mean, worth a try. Was it a 6+? Yes, it was. No.
Yes, it tells me that it was a 6+.
Against the... Croxagor? No, that was the other thing.
So pushing him off tackle, which is nice.
We could have just handed off to that thrall in the back and run forward if we wanted to, but we can also chain push our ball free, and we'd rather have
incredibly
this guy.
Exposed if you did that though.
Yeah,
that was a 3-die on a Saurus, by the way.
You're going to be pretty exposed no matter what you do.
Well, you're going to pull back, I think. Ooh, that's a tackle.
A tackle? An armor break, you mean?
Nice.
That's a tackle. Okay, you're ahead again.
I don't understand.
We do reroll it.
Pass off to the blodge. So this stun location actually makes it hard for the lizards to jam enough guard in here to get the job done.
Giving it to the vampire now. The strength 5 piece is difficult to knock down, to say the least.
They can get some... No, because they'd have to knock... So they need to get a knockdown with this rookie, which they do not. Can they get him enough out of the way, though? No. That actually makes it a lot worse. You can get a...
We can put the guard in there. Can we do anything with this break tackle piece afterwards? No, we could have gotten a 1-die if the rookie knocked over that vampire, like you said,
yes.
And but we didn't find that.
Oh, that was a... All right.
Armor break.
The way he dodged there made it a 4+. I think he could have dodged down and out, but maybe I'm wrong. That was a 4+ with break tackle, even, I think.
If we had knocked down this vampire, we could have put the guard Saurus in here, and then we could have broke tackle our way to this spot, and blitzed the ball carrier from there with a 1-die. It's a 1-die against blodge step, but it would have been a 1-die with tackle, right? No. Yes. Yes, it would.
So I think what you do here is just run backwards and maybe pass the ball, though that makes it a bit off. Oh, the Hypnogaze there is really nice. Lets him cut this corner if he wants to. And he rolls a 1. Welcome to Vamps. If you roll a 1 early in your turn,
ahead.
you just lose. Oh, and he snakes it.
There's the one and a snake, unfortunately. Hey, the Thrall caught the ball, though.
That's not necessarily good.
Now, the vampires were in a rough position, sort of no matter how they put it. They're just under a lot of pressure from the lizards there.
Well, they could have. So what they could have done here, what they were trying to do, I assume, was dodge out, go over here, pass the ball to Hawk, and then use some piece to block this Blodge Stepper down. Maybe even dodge out Ball Spawn 2 for a tackle hit. And then if you can get Ball Spawn down, you actually have good control over this side to cage up and kind of run away with the ball. And that would have put them in a really good position. Unfortunately, they rolled 2 1s in a row, and they lost the game. I mean, they didn't lose the game, but it doesn't look good.
No, they're currently in a bad position. I mean, they're just going to start suffering some attrition here with the block that the lizards are getting. And that makes it difficult for vamps to do stuff, because it turns out when you only have like 2 or 3 blood sacks that are easily available, your vampires are a lot less effective. Although that's a vampire that's now out. Little skinky boy.
And there's a 1 and 9 from the Blodge Stepper.
No, I mean, both sides failing dodges. One of them was much worse than the other.
Yes.
Alright, what do the vamps do? Cry.
It's like someone asked in the Chaos thread today, I think it was Failfish. He was like, this is my team, and this is the team I'm playing. And it was like, his team was like missing 2 players and had 0 tackle. And was going up against Dark Elves with Blodge Spam. And I'm like, pucker up and be prepared to lose. Like, there's no way you win that game.
No.
You're just physically incapable of winning. Like, you would need to get so lucky to actually do well against a team with, I think it was something like 9 Blodge, and he had 0 tackle. So he's going to at least try to force a 1 and 9, which is a good call.
It is, especially since it's a loner. The reroll isn't particularly useful.
Yeah, the push here is nice because he can tie up Count Dooku, so the Count Dooku can't come in and try to do some YOLO blitz play. So I don't think there was a blitz position where he could remove this guy without a 1-die.
It's not particularly great, but I think this is the best thing Dire Stickfish could have done. He gave himself a scoring threat. He made his opponent have to roll dice to score.
He's about to take a mighty blow hit, though, on his best vampire, which is a bit sad.
But, there's not much else he could have really done. I think this is the best he could have done given his situation. You just sort of pray your opponent rolls a 1 or a 2 right now.
He could have even re-rolled that, because he doesn't need the re-roll for the dodge. Doesn't get a removal. Yeah, some free hits for the lizards coming in here. Hey, look, everything is a 2-die. Welcome to playing lizards. Oh, got one.
Bonk. Dead. Thrall attrition.
You just always hypnogaze because it's like usually doesn't do anything, but it's literally free and sometimes.
I can't think of a situation in which it actually would have changed anything there, but you might as well do it because it's a good habit to be in. That was a weird.
That's what happens when you click skinks back and forth a bunch. They glitch out really. Yeah, exactly. Auto hypnogazing is just a good habit.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was referring to, I guess.
Because it does limit your opponent's options.
It didn't in any way that turn in particular, but there's no reason not to, especially if you're not going to hypnogaze anything else.
I mean, it technically limited him from doing a lot of really dumb things.
Like what?
I don't know.
I don't think there's anything it actually limited him from doing.
Because he already had the ball.
Yeah.
All the hypnogaze things are mostly like the you catch the ball thing or whatever.
Yeah, the most annoying bit about the hypnogaze is that you have to activate them before they can catch. So if they don't already have the ball and they're a scoring threat, like the Vamps can essentially eliminate 2 scoring threats on like a 2-turn by hypnogazing one of them and blitzing the other. Not quite eliminate because you can activate him and move him to the end zone or whatever, but it makes it harder. We are doing the backline 1-turn defense. I mean, it's not the greatest 1-turn defense. It's more about keeping your players alive, but it turns out vampires, so it doesn't really matter that much. They're movement 6. They're not gonna 1-turn. Technically, it's possible with 11 players. It's very difficult against Strength 4, especially Strength 4 that's spread out a little bit like this. And even one of them is even stand firm. one dying the strength 5 with your Saurus instead of dodging. Yeah, but Hypnogaze doesn't change that. If he had succeeded the Hypnogaze on the skink, he still could have done that.
Vamps are setting up to one turn? Oh, well, rip that.
I mean, I don't think they can. They don't have...
You can, sure. You have a full team. All you need is a full team.
You need a full team and the 3 players to be next to each other, don't you?
No.
I don't know how you do it with the players spread apart. You need them to chain push off.
You can always, if they're spread out too far, it actually makes it easier.
Not with movement 6.
Totally off base.
You do lose your tackle zones on your hip node, but once again, that doesn't change anything. I mean, I guess it makes it so that if he tried to blitz with the Saurus, it's uphill instead of uphill. Or uphill instead of a 1-die. I guess there's very technically a situation. Garbage League Official has hosted. We're doing recaps of REBBL games, not actually playing things. So if you're here for watching us play stuff, then you know you're probably in the wrong spot. But we are doing a weekly recap of what's been going on in the REBBL season for Divs 1 and 2A in the REL division. And thanks for the follow. Gonna grab ourselves, you know, a block or two. I don't. I mean, I guess the lizards still get a turn.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, why are we caging up that vampire? But it's because the lizards still get a turn. He just wants to protect him a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I guess.
I forgot that this was a defensive score, like, rather than an offensive one. Thank you. Appreciate it. I did say that, I guess, but my mind, it doesn't work in the way where I constantly think about incredibly stupid things. Just sometimes stupid things.
There's a 1 in 81, or it's using up all of his bad luck on one dice. That's what you do. You just gotta get them out of the pool, you know?
Yeah, that is how dice work.
That is how dice work. A poor dead Thrall. Really not a lot of damage, the Vamps.
No, not yet.
The Vamps rather have not sustained that much damage, but they are going into their defensive drive down 1, which is, you know, exactly where Lizards always want to be.
Yeah, the Vamps, they're happy to have the players they do. They're not happy to be... they're not happy to not have scored, or at least have been scored against. The Vamps probably would have been okay if that half ended 0-0. They could probably deal with that, but having it end 1-0 for your opponents is like the worst case scenario. I mean, unless it's like 5-0 or something, obviously. Because Cheese is going to be pedantic about it. But you get what I mean. Vampires are pretty good on defense. You know, Hypnogaze, cage corners, and that sort of thing. You can get some... You can engineer yourself some good defensive positions, certainly. So 0-0 is recoverable, but 1-0 is going to be difficult.
It's quite hard. That's exactly what I was going to say. They wouldn't be too sad to be going down 1-0. This is a good turn.
Yeah, we can, because of that perfect defense, we can block that Saurus out of the way. We can blitz the skink, and then we can put a vampire just under the ball.
No, because it's not a blitz. It's just a perfect team.
Oh, right.
You know how this game works.
No, I don't. I'm also very tired.
I know.
I'm like literally falling asleep right now.
You and I got a late start. We're feeling it.
After a long day as well. Grunt, no!
Grunt immediately gets removed.
Grunt is my favorite.
Not what you want to see when you're Dire Fish. Is the immediate removal. Yeah, so failing to type the Crocs here did mean that he can't put him in this amazing spot, of course, which is going to let the Lizards do a bit of punching back. That said, it is onto Blodge, so they will need pals.
It's Kittens. Kittens with fluffy mittens. The other mittens.
I don't know who that is.
Well, there's Kittens with fluffy mittens, and I'm Steakmittens. So, you know,
yes.
Double mittens.
That's not a very high bar. Kittens with fluffy mittens.
That's true.
Not getting the knockdowns are the lizards this turn, so could be a decent follow-up turn for the Vamps if they can make something happen.
Grunt is only second to Legion.
Elects not to expose a loner skink to get a 1 die on the or to get a 2 die on Commander Shepard, and is punished as he rolled POWs, which would have been enough to take it down. But Commander Shepard could have easily sidestepped onto the skink. Ooh, that was a 5+ hypno. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Gets a smack on the Croxagore. Croxagore goes down.
It's another instance of how like valuable the hypnogaze can work. I mean, it was a hard hypnogaze, but the fact that it works means we just get to hit stuff. Right? It's
that would have been a nice one because it would have popped a hole into this, and he could have followed up. But this means he can still get in the way. Urs did a good job here, it must be said, of making his screen either thick or too deep, so that the Vamps could not easily pop a hole through. That said, there is a hole to be found here.
Oh, God.
You just have to go looking, really get...
Thick,
work your
too
way
deep.
up in there.
There's a hole to be found.
For the first 2 or so, it was an accident, and after that, I just leave it.
You can wear 2 pairs of mittens at once. You could put another 1 pair of mittens over the other.
I would not want to wear a second pair of mittens if one of them was made of meat.
You don't want to cover your hands in meat and then put them in woolly mittens?
I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to wear a single pair of mittens where one of them is made of meat, but I certainly don't want to wear 2. Call me old-fashioned.
Such a fuddy-duddy.
I know, right?
What a prude.
Oh, that's a dub skull. Into a POW?
No, just a push. Dub skull into dub push. Symmetry. Actually,
Versus Dice, failing him a bit here in this second half. Potentially exposing the ball? No, because Vamps are slow as fuck.
This is the most annoying thing. Like playing against lizards, and you just see this. It's like here's a wall of blue flesh. You're like, oh Jesus! Like
here's a wall of strength 4 to 5 and guard, and I'm just gonna keep the ball in the backfield. And if you ever actually go for it, I'm gonna hand it off to someone and be like 16 yards up your end zone, and there's nothing you can really.
It's awful. It's so annoying. Like just this wall of annoying lizard is the most frustrating thing ever. I think the only thing worse is just like orcs with 15 guard on their team. Yes, I understand.
Yeah, I mean, if you put on the non-meat mittens, you're then wearing meat-soaked mittens. I mean, either way, it's just awful.
I mean, if you put on the non-meat mittens and then you cover the non-meat mittens with meat, at least you're protecting your hands from the meat.
No, but then you just get meat juices in the absorbent secondary mittens, and then those secondary mittens...
I mean, I guess you're just committing yourself to disposing of those mittens.
I'm losing the thread here, actually. I'm not going to lie.
You're just sort of committing yourself to disposing
just like,
of
I'm
those
just going
mittens.
to run. What are you?
Yeah, I'm just going to step back here. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'll keep... I am a skink. I can score from one side of the field in about 2 turns if I really want to. Also is 1-0. So I'm just going to hide back here and beat you to death. Enjoy.
Gotta be careful here about Commander Shepard.
I think it's cooked steak because, that's too
No,
hot.
in your emoticon, it is clearly uncooked steak.
It could just be very raw or very rare.
I don't think you know what cooked steak looks like.
No, I don't really eat steak. Which is weird, but,
I mean, I don't love it either, actually. I think it's pretty overrated.
I agree.
I had some in Vermont. I had, my friend Matt bought us all a bunch of, like, ridiculously posh steaks from, like, a local grocery there, because everything in Vermont is, like, artisanal, local, blah, 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 because it's made for the ski resort people, basically. And also Vermont is filled with, like, affluent hippies and yuppies. I think he said very rare in his defense. I did hear very rare, but that's not what a very rare steak looks like.
I did say very
They still
rare.
tend to be, cooked on the outside at least a little bit.
Well, I mean, the concept of the Steakmittens were, that's too hot, and they can't exactly be too hot if they're not.
You're right, it's true. I'm forgetting the source material. I'm sorry, Ben.
actually
Does not get a break. That's chooses to pile on. I don't know about that, and is not rewarded for it.
I don't really like the pile on
Now-
either because you're not threatening the
because
ball
now-
anymore.
Yeah, I mean you are because that guy.
But I'd be much more scared of the block, tackle, mighty blow, piling on, jump up vampire than I am of the kick thrall. I mean, I guess
there's
he's
a
jump
1 in
up,
9.
so it's not terrible.
It's true. He's jump up. I forgot that is
I think, in fairness, I said very raw, or I mean very rare, and like corrected myself because I realized that saying very raw is a stupid thing.
So the lizards are in a bit of a pickle here. Oh, that's a good bonehead.
A lizard pickle.
Hmm.
I don't know what that is. It's a bonehead.
That's a bonehead. Oh, and there's the ball. There's a sure feet.
You're ahead again, but here we go. Oh, there's the sure feet failure. We keep going though. I guess we have a reroll.
That's fine. 2 rerolls for 5 turns though, so nothing.
They're not free.
Freedom isn't free, Ben. Now it must be said, there is a hit on this ball.
Nothing ain't worth nothing, but
there
it's
is
free.
less of a hit on this ball now. So that was 2 very scary 3 pluses that the Lizards had to throw there. There is still a hit on the ball. You have to hit. Okay, that's not what you want to do.
I don't know what a lizard pickle is. I'm aware of what pickles are. They are gross things that taste like pickles.
All right. Oh, he's trying to hypno this guy to the way so he could. No, but even then, that doesn't work. I don't think the hypnoing there made any sense.
I mean, once again, there's no reason not to hypno.
No, but like committing to that, like you couldn't get around this lizard.
1, 2,
because
3,
you
4,
needed to
5,
target.
6, 7, 8. You could with 2 GFIs and another dodge, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't really change
What
much.
he could instead have done was gone around with the the mighty blow tackle piece, hypnoed the loner, and then dodged in that way. Oh, he's just gonna fail every GFI he throws. Okay, they were doomed anyway because their dice pool just had a lot of 1s in it.
Apparently. Okay.
There was a way to orchestrate a fairly reliable hit on this ball.
Let me amend my statement in saying that pickles are fine, but I don't like putting pickles on anything because then that thing only tastes like pickles to me. And I don't want, if I wanted a pickle, I'd eat
so
a
that's-
pickle,
that's-
not like a sandwich that tastes like pickle.
But that's kind of like a symptom of mostly bad pickles and also bad balancing. Like, you can make some damn fine sandwiches with damn tasty pickles, and I feel bad for you because you've not experienced.
Everything I've ever eaten with a pickle on it just tastes like pickles.
Yes, it's because the Maritimes makes garbage food for garbage people.
I mean, I've had pickles in places other than the Maritimes. I have traveled to other locations.
Don't believe you. I remember what eating there is like. I only went to the posh restaurants when I was in town.
I mean, no, you didn't.
I didn't eat any of like the truly garbage places. I didn't go to like Jeans or whatever.
Nobody goes to Jeans.
We used to sit there and talk about World of Warcraft.
The only people who go to Jeans are college students who can't afford anything else, which is what we were at the time. That's a hypno gaze. It worked this time.
Didn't work that time though.
Unfortunately, no. It means we're gonna have to roll a bunch of dodges now. We've made the first 2. We've made the third one. We've used the dodge skill.
Hey, you have a hit on this ball. Oh, but Jesus, the GFIs for these guys though.
Oh my god. Stop. Please succeed a thing, vampires.
And then doesn't get the knockdown because of that.
Oh my gosh. That's very annoying.
Lodge step onto. Yeah, okay, this is just brutal.
Makes me sad.
First, you got a bit bailed out here, buddy. Not that you played poorly, but the Vamps like had some good shots on this ball because Vamps always have shots on ball.
I mean,
and failed all of the critical things they needed to this game.
I guess
They just like were never really in it because they never got to do the things they wanted to do.
no, it's just they never had the dice. And sometimes you need the dice as vampires. I mean, no, cheese, like traveling to the same place you're already in isn't traveling, but you also can't get to other places without traveling. So saying, like, other places doesn't really make sense either. Where do we put this skink? I mean, kind of wherever we want, really. It's not them. We're pretty safe no matter what we do.
They're just going to score. There's no reason not to score here. Vamps can't score twice in 3 turns.
That's very true.
And this ball is very much not safe.
We can...
Salesman, or the strength 5 piece was still up, and
we could hypnogaze one of the protective
yeah.
corners pretty easily, so yeah, I think scoring here is probably the best way to deal with it as well. Put it on the second O of touchdown. right here. Ah, see, you were wrong, because he put it on the N.
I accidentally skipped. Let me know when we're done.
Well, both of the KOs have returned, and now the lizards are setting up their team in the W sort of lizard defense that is meant to protect the skinks. Because on a team without Slibbly, you will have 4 skinks on the field. Whereas if you have the full complement, you only have 3. You made it a period. Grammatical skink. Yes, I like it.
Caloric, I kept your stock for this week, so you're not allowed to lose. You've seen what I do to people who lose me points. I don't remember who you're playing, but apparently I decided you would win. Yes, you are, right. I was like, I thought it was some nonsense match that could go either. I'm playing Wood Elves with my Chaos, and like in that sense, losing the Blodge Guard Chaos Warrior I lost last week is kind of a blessing because it's just bloat really against. I mean, it's not really bloat.
I'm playing Travel Scrabble's ludicrous stat Necro.
Oh, I know. I bought more Travel Scrabble stock.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, I would always buy against me probably in Div 1.
No,
Right now.
you statistically speaking do very well, even in like your last div and this div. You'll be fine. Hit this skink.
I would be very surprised if I ended up top half of the table.
I don't know. That's what I always say because you know, Steakmittens is bad at Blood Bowl is a good meme, but you never actually follow by being bad at Blood Bowl.
And it just turns out most of the other people in Div 1 are pretty good and or have pretty good teams. And my team is probably one of the worst ones in Div 1.
Yeah, travel is very high.
How do you know?
I mean, you did miss an entire discussion of... we were talking about lots of drug things in REL chat for a while, to the point that people were like, oh, okay, this is just drug chat now.
Oh, I don't look at Discord.
Stoner chat. I know you don't look at Discord at all, so...
I miss most of the memes. If you ping me, I might notice within the next 2 days. Well, that's about it.
Man, these vamps, they roll a lot of ones, it must be said.
They're just incapable of accomplishing anything, and that's certainly very frustrating.
Pretty easy for the lizards to get this ball if they want it.
I have
they don't have a skink for recover? No, they do, yeah.
Yeah, and the ELO like thing that was put together, he's like 1500 or something, and I'm like 1300, so there's like an 80%. They're predicting like an 80% that he wins. And I have a terribly low ELO, apparently. I mean, the lizards are going to put a lot of pressure on the ball here, and then the vamps are going to be sad that they can't pick it up. But it doesn't really matter what the lizards do right now.
Can pick up the ball. They can just blitz through.
They can, but it doesn't really matter. Like, it almost literally doesn't matter what the lizards do at this point. Well, they failed the GFI because GFIs are not allowed in this game. Clearly, one of these teams should have had Astro Granite.
The Lizards made some GFIs that must be set up until this point. It's just, but yeah, didn't quite work out. It's a free palm hit. Obviously piles on. The Vamp pile-on is super, super weak.
Hypno Gaze. It works so we can pick up the ball. And, like, we can potentially score here by just handing off, but even then it doesn't matter. Then the Lizards get the ball and they just hide, and then the Vamps still lose 2-1.
Yeah, the Vamps lose, but at least they get some SPP.
That's true. They're gonna grab, they're gonna bring, revived Commander Shepard up to 80. Ideally. So that's the Mass Effect 2 Shepard, I guess.
He's going to stall to avoid... Well, he's going to take a Mighty Blow hit on a Vamp, which is a bit scary. But...
Probably my favorite gameplay-wise, but my least favorite story-wise.
The number 3?
2. I love the gameplay, but I really hated that they were like, you work for Cerberus. I'm like, but I don't like Cerberus. I don't really want to work for Cerberus. Can I just say no and not work for Cerberus? Do these things for Cerberus. I was like, oh, great. Okay, I guess that's what we're doing now.
Oh, right. Mass Effect 2 was the one with where they introduced Super Booty Lady.
Yeah. I mean, Space Australian?
Mass Effect also exists in that weird, like, RPG/dating sim world that goes for
Bioware games.
That like Fire Emblem exists in and things like that.
Yeah, like Mass Effect and Dragon Age and
yeah, exactly. Dating sims with like some RPG elements on top of it.
I mean, you can completely ignore the dating sim aspect if you want. It accomplishes
you
literally nothing other than give you some cutscenes. Depends on Fire Emblem.
Is like it's true, but Fire Emblem is usually like a min-max simulator, and to do it properly, you really need to do the.
Oh yeah, in Fire Emblem Awakening, I have like a book written out like by my bedside table, full of like who I need to breed with who, so that I can give everybody Wind Force or whatever it is. The thing lets you move.
Earth's being a real bro there, by the way, and choosing not to use dodge when the vampire rolled a defender stumbles to give him a chance to get on a loner skank.
Oh yeah, just give him a chance to get SVP. Oh, that's nice of him.
Fire Emblem games are good in a very particular way.
Fire Emblem games are great.
The writing is done like it's like as if creeps were interacting with creeps who have never talked to a real human being and certainly never flirted with one. But
I just like that I have a book written out of who has to breed with who.
That is just how you play Fire Emblem. I mean, in particular, that iteration of Fire Emblem, which was the most min-maxy in terms of breeding.
Yeah, okay, and that let me like clarify this.
No, because we'll never get this fucking stream done. I'm not letting you clarify. You just have to let that awkward quote hang, and there's nothing you can do about it.
In that Fire Emblem, there's like weird time travel bullshit where like the kids of your current characters come from the future to help you fight stuff. And you can affect the stats of those kids and what skills they get by determining who their parents are through like the relationship mechanic stuff. So trying to ensure that the right people are their parents or the right kids can give you some really overpowered characters, which is what I was messing around with. Anyway, yeah, so that's going to be a 2-1 for the Lizards. I really want to see the vampire GFIs there. 71%. It felt like it was worse than that, but especially since the Lizards was 62%, but they also rolled a lot fewer. Vampires attempting to roll 14 of them.
Yeah, that is exactly what he means. It's just a breeding plan for getting Gale Force.
Exactly. It's fun. What were the blocked? That's a weird number of like. You know, the skulls and pows pretty even, you know, but like the both downs and stumbles are half that.
I mean, if you look at block dice for both teams, like there were so many pushes rolled this game.
This is a weird, like
a lot of pows.
Earth's getting like double the number of, like triple the number of pushes to some of his other dice. There's a lot of pushes. It was a weird game in terms of dice. let's look at the other games from this division, shall we? It is worth noting that we both predicted the Vampires to win that for fun, and it did not work out.
So that's 2 that were wrong already.
I have not bought the new Fire Emblem yet. I really want to, but I will probably save it for when I have to go on a business trip next, so that I have something to do.
That's fair. It's really good to play mobile, actually. You get used to the like weird you run a school thing. It's still a bit tedious, even when you're pretty into the game, I must say. The combat system is pretty fun, but it's Fire Emblem. It's like
always fun.
Not terribly different, yeah.
Oh, well,
and
I'll play it when I go on a business trip next, probably.
The overworld graphics look like they were made for the PlayStation 1, which I don't really care. It's a Fire Emblem game. It's not about like the graphical integrity of the like weird overworld school system, but it is like jarring to see like pillars that you just phase through that contain like noticeable facets on them, and you're like, all right, is it 2004? What is happening here?
Grungy Desserts versus the Rebel Cheese Thieves. We did not predict anything for this because it had already been played, because 2A is a try-hard division where everybody plays all of their games immediately. But we get a 2-1 victory for the Nurgle out of this one. 21 armor breaks, I feel, resulting in 7 casualties and 5 KOs is probably the biggest takeaway from this. Whereas the Grungy Desserts take 1 KO off of 16 blocks all game. That's very, very much in the Nurgle sort of control, I think. There was 1 touchdown from the Skaven, but that's because Skaven are Skaven, and even if they have 1 player, they just pick up and run away, because Nurgle are slow as hell. But, a 2-1 grind where you remove the opponent's team is certainly a thing. Hackflem Shuttle Spike, getting the MVP, sadly. Also getting injured in the game, which is kind of funny. But there you go. There was going to be a lot of inducements in this one, so I imagine there was probably a wizard at some point. I don't see it, though. Oh, there it is. Yes, there was the wizard. Definitely some star players. Skaven getting a touchdown, because you're not going to stop that, but the Nurgle taking it down. Then we have Battle Brothers versus Rebel Rage Quit. I believe we both predicted Cleric for this one. We did, and he did win. I'm interested to see 35 armor breaks. Well, that's a Robbie for you. 7 casualties and 6 KO sustained, but no deaths. The Chorfs taking 2 casualties and a KO of their own. Surprisingly, having the ball for a reasonable amount of time. But the Battle Brothers able to take it 2-1 despite not having players, apparently. But that's sort of exactly how games against a Robbie go. You don't have anybody left, but somehow you still win.
Yeah, because he doesn't bother to score mostly. Then there's we watched the Lackland Lungtongs versus the BioWare for Life. I didn't quite say that right, but it's fine. Hornstars versus Fell with Cotadal. This got played before? No, yes.
It did, yeah. But it's a 1-1 tie. No matter how well you do against this team, this elf team, if you leave them with the 1-turner alive, they can still score. And we sort of see that. Although they fought back certainly pretty hard with 5 KOs and 4 casualties sustained by the Chaos, 5 casualties and 3 KOs from the Helves.
Yeah, I mean the elves outpunched the Chaos here.
Lord Nathaniel Marr getting 2 casualties of his own along with the MVP, so he's suddenly only 20 SPP from Legend.
That sweet Palmer.
Yeah, the Palm Juggernaut jump up tackle, the triple double like Elf Blitzer. Also, I wonder if we'll get a 4th one. Yeah, the almost out armor breaking the Chaos, but they outblocked, but they didn't quite outblock the Chaos. But I mean, they kept up. This would have been an interesting game too.
And then Nurgle versus Chorf. We predicted the Nurgle would win, and the Nurgle did.
Oh, neat. We're actually okay at some of these things.
We crushed it last week, and we're doing all right once we get past we just reviewed 2 games where we were horribly wrong, but they were a bit upsetting. So
spoilers. There may have been a reason why we picked those games, because they didn't go the way we expected them to.
That's true. I wanted to see what happened in the RHXL game. So
so 44 blocks, 33 blocks in this one. The Chorfs taking 4 casualties, the Nurgle taking 3 casualties and 1 KO. Regen working only one of those times, but still, that's half as many, player removals as the Chorfs took, so that certainly would help. And it is a 1-0, very typical Nurgle game. Manage to defend and then score on your own drive. One expulsion as well, so that's another removal, sort of passively from the Nurgle.
Yeah, Nurgle are a very tough matchup for Chorfs. Chorfs get out. They're out strength. They're out guarded. They're out killed. They're facing a regen team. Foul appearance is a thing. It's just a really nasty game. No, that wasn't like a real spoilers. That was just Ben being like,
wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
And we did it for this reason. Necro versus Orcs. We predicted the Orcs would win, and we were wrong. Rough game for Helves as he went down and lost to the Forsaken.
Yeah, that's the Forsaken Awoken out blocking the Orcs and out removing them.
Slightly out removing them.
Slightly, but they were KOs.
Lots of removals. It looks like someone on the green weenies was either fouled to death or killed themselves, and the Necro also took 2 more casualties from dodges or fouls. Let's see what Regen did. Regen did work 3 out of 5 times, so that's why Orcs just couldn't get a numbers advantage.
Yep, the 3 of those removals weren't real, as it were, quote. And then the Orcs only getting 25% of their KOs. I mean, that's only 1 off of average, so it's not exactly unsurprising, but it doesn't help in the player count game. The Orcs definitely just not having as many players as
and the green weenies seemed like their armor just wasn't really working. Green weenies doing 27 dodges. That's a lot of dodges for Orcs.
It is, and making 77% of them.
Their block dice were pretty bad, it must be said. 32 pushes is
not particularly great, no.
I mean, we don't see exactly how that distributes. And on the other hand, the block dice for the Forsaken Awoken were amazing. Almost as many Defender Stumbles and Powers as pushes, and 9 skulls. Yeah, 9 skulls in the entire game.
That certainly works out for the Necro.
As you flip through the page, just everything is a knockdown.
And then we had Welcome to the Dark Side and Arkeepa Nurgler's REBBL. So that is the Dark Elves and Necro. Or not Necro, Undead. Oh, god damn it.
Nurgle. Jesus Christ.
I was thinking about the Necro, and then I know that I always make the mistake where I call Necro Undead. And, yeah. Anyway, we predicted the Dark Elves and we were right.
Pulling out a win, which is good because I have a lot of stock in this Dark Elf team. So they sustained 23 armor breaks because Lewis that's just his thing, man. He just gets the breaks.
We did predict the Dark Elves, it's worth noting.
We did, yes. So 38 blocks, got 23 armor breaks. Only resulting in 8 KOs, 3 CAS. And there was nothing else sustained, so some damage probably for the elves. There's a death, but we don't know what that was.
Man, I love how there's only 16 blocks sustained by the Nurgle. It's like literally 1 a turn. One literally. Block. The 1 blitz is all that happened. All that the Dark Elves get. And this is like one of the reasons that we predicted the Dark Elves here was that there was just so much blodge step spam that the Nurgle would potentially have a hard time actually like generating removals and stuff. But they managed to do it anyway. But yet the Dark Elves still managed to get the win out of it. So like we were right, but not for the reason that we thought we would be.
No, this is the reason I thought we would be right.
I mean, we thought that the Nurgle wouldn't get very many knockdowns and very many removals because of all the blodge step, and they managed to accomplish that with. No, I also
just know that Lewis has trouble against edge teams. Our division was very bash heavy last season, so like the cast dice, got the job done, but not so much here.
Okay, well, so after that, first of all, BioWare for Life and Undead Desserts have already played. Because BioWare for Life is going to annoy me all season with their like must play on Tuesday nonsense.
Well, Wednesday, but
no, yes. That's the joke. They play before they're allowed to because he's so enthusiastic about doing it. So please. I've
never played Dire Fish. I don't think I would like to at some point. He's been like around for.
I think I have. I
mean, I can check my Discord PMs. It's usually how I check.
Anyway, this is what the leaderboard currently looks like. We've got Stouticus out in the lead, and not
we
for
have
science.
never even spoken on Discord.
Not for science. Moneybags, Sir Kodiak, very close seconds. And Cleric and Holes, also within 1 point of the previously mentioned teams. So things haven't separated as much yet in 2A, but there's still a lot of weeks to go. Shall we predict things for this week?
I thought really hard about buying Grungy Desserts stock this week, and I'm glad I didn't, because that tie would have cost me roughly $1 billion. Yeah, let's do predictions, because it is 10 p.m. and I am asleep at 1.
Yeah, well, maybe we should have started earlier.
A team that has Agi options versus a Robbie. Gonna take the team with Agi options.
It's a team with a one-turner. I mean, he's probably going to lose most of his players, but he's going to get inducements. He's going to score as many times as he wants. And Arabi's going to punch stuff. Arabi's going to get a boatload of casualties, so he's going to have a grand old time, but I think the Skaven probably win it. Bioware for Life has already played.
Fell with Kodadal. Based on the stock purchase that I made, I have to go with the Bretts.
Really? Okay. The Bretts do get a decent number of inducements.
That was my thought, and they also have the Agi. They've got some Agi game, right? So
yeah, they have some Agi game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
we do.
11.
We're only doing predictions and like match reviews. It's pretty quick. Team reviews are really what take.
Yes. They get what, 300K?
You should go with high elves because I'm probably wrong, and also we should have some contentious picks.
I mean, the Bretts get so much in terms of inducements.
They do, and Bretts have good inducements, which is why I went with Brett.
We do have the one turner. We do have some pretty serious elf nonsense. I mean, sure. I mean, why not? It'll be fun. Yeah.
Some weird IPAs out of Vermont. Cryo Days. It's a double.
This is the I'll go with the elves just for some contentious things, but honestly, I think the Battle Brothers have a really good chance at it. Like they have a good Agi game and they get a lot of inducements. But Contract Killers and the Lackland Longtongues. So we've got Urs the Lizardmen, and we've got the Bernese Chaos Dwarves. Let's see. The big thing is, well, they're missing the Claw Palm Strength guy. So,
oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say Chorfs do really well against lizards traditionally.
They're missing one of the good Chorf blockers.
How much claw palm do they have?
None. They have one Claw Mighty Blow because the Claw Palm guy is out.
Okay, then lizards probably.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they do get another Hobgoblin at 40, which puts them at
Claw Mighty Blow removes players 25% of the time, I think, on a knockdown. So 25 times 0.55 or times 75% for the ones with a block. Most of the time, the Saurus will survive. That said, the lizards are giving away a ton of inducements, but Chorf inducements are garbage.
I mean, so they're giving away a wizard, basically, and the lizards have 0 bench.
Lizards have 0 bench, but the Chorf also has 0 bench. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're actually getting an extra hobgoblin, so they're at 1480.
Yep. And
the lizards are at
2 extra lizards or 2 extra skinks.
So 180 on top of 1550. So 1650, 1730. So 1730 to 1480. So 290k.
Did you just say skinks cost
60k?
And then added 60k to 180.
I thought there were 3 skinks for some reason. So they're at 1670. So 1670 to 1480, so 190k?
Yeah, it's a wizard, like a wizard and a babe. If they really want it, the claw Mighty Blow is a thing, but there are only 2 guards, so they're not really going to be able to outmuscle the Saurus very well, and they probably want to engineer a ton of removals. I feel like this feels like lizards to me, although it's certainly possible if the Chorfs get a little lucky.
Yep, I agree.
Greeny Weenies and Hornstars?
Because the lizards just are going to base up. The lizards can literally just aggressively base up this Chorf team, and there's nothing the Chorfs can do about it. They have 2 guard to 4, and the lizards are so much stronger.
Yeah, the lizards are going to be like, you have a Saurus, and you have a Saurus, and you have a Saurus, and then they'll just be like, okay, chase my skinks down with your hobgoblins. Oh, wait.
Ben and I both have degrees that are tangentially related to math, so we like to, flex on people sometimes.
I mean, I feel like math is not tangentially related to math.
Well, I'm giving you an out. I always say you have a math degree, and you're like, oh, well, I see you have several math degrees, and you're like, I only have one.
I do only have one. The Greeny Weenies and the Hornstars. So we've got Holes and his Orcs, and we've got my Nemo and his Chaos. So it's 2200 Chaos versus 1670 Orcs.
So Orcs get a ton of inducements, but they're going against a team with a billion Claw Bomb. They're down one Chaos Warrior, which is significant, but not significant enough.
No, I mean this is Chaos.
You're about to get utterly shreked.
This has got Chaos written all over it.
You get a ton of inducements. Like you can get oh, you're down a block Orc. That's really bad. You can get a ton of inducements, but I don't think it matters. Like you can get Ripper and a Wizard. I don't know.
I mean,
it is faster. I said math was good for you. I didn't say doing math was faster. Anyway,
what are even the Orc star players?
There's Brick and Grody.
No, there's Bomber. Or
you can only get a maximum of 2 Abos, unfortunately.
There is Morg. There's Ripper. Ripper is actually really good. Scrapus.
What is he, a block, mighty blow, strength 6 troll?
No, he's just a grab. He's a grab strength 6 troll that doesn't have really stupid.
Right. But it's still loner, so it's just gonna 1 in 9 every time.
There's a line orc with a chainsaw, and then there's Varg Gulchewer, who is like the sort of star. He's the God, why can't I remember the good human Griff? He's the Griff of the orcs. He's strength 4. He's like their star player in terms of the lore, but he's not nearly anywhere as good. He's a strength 4 block mighty blow thick skull jump up orc.
So the Cats are gonna win.
Yeah.
Then we have a Nurgle Abysmal Cusp at 1750 because they've taken a bit of damage lately. I think. Yeah, they're down 2 Nurgle warriors in a Nurgle mirror.
That's
against
rough.
a team with where are they? 1930, and they're down 0 Nurgle warriors. I take the team that's down 0 Nurgle warriors.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that as well. I mean, both teams do have a bench.
I like Sir Kodiak, and I think that he is the stronger coach in this matchup. But and he does have the ex-wife, which is a fantastic beast of Nurgle. But he's down a guard, and he's down a mighty blow. He's got 2 claw mighty blow against Lewis's. First of all, Lewis has a bunch of blodge guard, which. I don't think Sir Kodiak has a great way of dealing with.
I think the one thing that Sir Kodiak has going for him here is that he's got like a Rotter army to like put in the way of the sort of claw mighty blow players, but that's all you really have. And if once you lose some, you don't have players to replace them, which is generally
he doesn't have them. He's got
5.
He's got 1 bench. Sure, he's got Rotters, but instead of a Rotter, Lewis can field a Nurgle warrior.
That's what I just said, in that there's nothing to replace the Rotters once they've been removed.
But also just like his field presence is so much lower than Lewis's. So I'm going to have to give this to Lewis.
Oh, no, I agree. But, we could get lucky with some fouls and that sort of thing, but I think Lewis's team is just better suited to this. Welcome to the Dark Side and the Forsaken Awoken. So we've got the 1940 Dark Elves and the 1890 Necro. So, a babe for the Necro if they want it. But there's no extra players on either side. I think the big thing this comes down to is how many tackle are there. Both whites have tackle, and that's it. Both whites having tackle and mighty blow does certainly make a difference. But man, the Dark Elf team.
I love the Dark Elf team. That's why I'm so heavily invested in it. It's just so much fun. It's got 3 guard. It's got 4 movement ups. One of them double on a blitzer for a movement fucking 9 sure hands blodge step piece. It's so great. Yep. It's just like such a perfect team. It doesn't have any agi and it doesn't have any strength for like truly like nonsensical elven bullshit, but it doesn't matter because it's like a fast dark elf team, which is already pretty unfair, and it's got 3 guard, which is incredibly unfair.
There's certainly some tools that the Necro have. They have the Agi 4 leaping werewolf, which is kind of hilarious and also scary.
I love it. They lost a wolf recently. They had a different wolf too.
And they've got the two whites are certainly going to be able to do things. And then there's also the Agi Strength 4 Ghoul, which is very useful as well. Along with Kick against elf teams is pretty useful. But I just feel like it's going to be difficult for them to deal with the like just extreme movement and like blodginess of this Dark Elf team. You know, sure, you have 2 players with tackle, but when your opponent has 7 players with blodge, there's, you know, only so much you can do against that. So I'm gonna go with Dark Elves. And you're gonna go with something that you're not telling me.
Sorry, I like the Dark Elves here. I also picked the Dark Elves to win for stocks, so I just have to go with it.
All right. So back to Div 1 then. In results, we had Scooby and the gang versus the Bad Apples, which I don't know if we predicted. Oh, yes, we did. Necro versus Dark Elves. So you predicted the Necro and I predicted the Dark Elves.
Sorry, I better flip back. Ooh.
So you are gonna, and the Necro have 1 there, so you get the point, or the 2 point. It's 1 point, but I lose a point, so 2 point. In terms of relative points.
It does. There it is. Words. It do. Yeah. This is why actually I invested in the Bad Apples, because I was like, oh, their stock is low and I think they're going to start winning. So
you invested in them but predicted against them and then they lost?
No, I predicted. I invested in them this week, so this result is fine. Actually, it's good because it made them cheaper. So A-Grain, you have to start winning now.
I see. Okay, so let's see. Scooby and the gang had the ball for so much of the game, but there wasn't really a whole lot of damage on either side, really.
This looks like a 2-1 grind, yeah.
Yeah, two casualties and 2 KOs for the Bad Apples, 2 KOs for the Scooby and the gang. So sort of 2-1 grind. The Necro had the ball for most of the game, and with the stats they have, it was just difficult for the Dark Elves to get it off them, I think. Archangel's Will versus Gotta Catch 'Em All. We both predicted that I would lose this, and we were right. Although I'm pretty happy with how this game went, to be fair. I thought it was going to be like 3-0 or something dumb. I think this is one of the better games I've ever played against elves. I think I played it pretty well. There was definitely one thing I did at one point that was not great and probably could have been done better, but I don't think it would have saved me the game. But essentially this game comes down to Wood Elves with a Wizard. You know, I was in a pretty good position, and then Wizard, pick up ball, leave, score. Now it's 2-1, you lose game because elves. And that's basically what we expected to happen, and that's kind of what happened. But I'm happy with how the game went. It's probably one of the better games I've ever played against elves, and Archangel's a damn good elf coach, so I feel good about how hard I made it for him. And we had Rage Dorf and Charlestown Chiefs.
They had already played, so
they
I
had,
did not predict this.
1-1.
Not a lot of breaks. A lot of injuries, though. 7 breaks for the Lizards, resulting in 6 removals.
Yeah, six casualties, 3 KOs. One of those being a death. Is a lot. Ragedorf beating some lizards.
Ragedorf got 5 breaks and 4 casts.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you guys on? Every time armor broke, it was like a death.
5. Wait. 5 breaks, 4 injuries inflicted. Yet the Charlestown Chiefs sustained 6 injuries and 3 KOs. They took more casualties than blocks, or than armor breaks. There were more casualties in the Lizards than there were armor breaks.
Yeah,
which is ridiculous.
7 armor breaks, resulting in a total of 6 removals, and the Lizards took 9 armor breaks, resulting in a total of 9 removals. It's like, if your armor breaks, you're out.
What a stupid game. Oh my god. All right. Yeah, that's a thing. Wow. And it ends up in 1-1. I guess both of them probably scoring on their own drive in some way. Although a
pretty good matchup for Lizards. MVP going to the dead skink, by the way. MVP on the other hand going to Master Dorf.
The dead loner skink. So, extra salt.
This is the worst shit ever.
It seems like a weird game with that many removals, 1-1. Like I was gonna say, they probably just both scored on their own drive, but 31% ball possession and 18% ball possession means that both players only really had the ball for like 3 turns or so a piece, like 3 to 4 turns.
I mean, it seems like it was a scramble.
Like a giant scramble while they're punching each other, and somebody broke free and scored, and then it happened again, and somebody broke free and scored, and we end up tying. Then we had a Nurgle off between the Rowdy Rebel Rousers and Fear and Bloating.
The Rowdy Rebel Rousers took the game, which was Atomic's team, which is what we predicted. Their MVP is a dead rotter. We predicted TRJ. Oh, Atomics crushing it.
We did. We predicted TRJ, and Atomic's taking it down.
We done fucked up.
I think it was one of those things where it could very easily go either way, because it turns out it's Nurgle versus Nurgle.
We picked the bigger Nurgle.
Basically, yeah, and it's it's a 65-35 type of game.
All right, I'm just gonna flip right to the regen rolls. Rowdy Rebel Rousers made 100% of their regen rolls.
Fear and Bloating made one of them. There you go.
1/3. Yeah.
That's.
I mean, the numbers were actually still pretty small, and I think most of the removals were rotters, but. I mean, they actually both beat the shit out of each other.
5 casualties.
The entire game.
5 casualties, 3 KOs.
9 casualties across the game, 7 KOs. Like it was a bash fest for how many blocks were thrown.
Fear and Bloating took more removals, and then it had less regens, which is sort of the game there. I mean, more removals, and they're 4 casualties, 4 KOs versus 5 casualties, 3 KOs. It's similar, but there were less regens for Fear and Bloating. And the other thing to look at, I guess, is the KO rolls. Rowdy Rebel Rousers had bad KO rolls, and the average KO rolls for Fear and Bloating. So I mean, it's very swingy, I guess.
Pull this out. Yeah,
very swingy, I guess.
Geez, when that happens, I just buy them and ruin my naming scheme, and have a beastman called Frafagors forever, and then he finally dies, and you decide to apple him for some reason, and then he stays dead, and then your Chaos Warrior dies later, and then you're really sad.
5 shots at stopping the score, but he kept picking up. That's interesting.
Lizards. Just lizard things.
We
gotta say, Unseen Walker, you are pulling out quite the performance in a div, given that you landed with no team.
Yeah. Greenskin Brawlers and the Fogmire Fen Beasts. So we predicted that... did we predict something? No, we did not. It already played. Puff getting MVP and dying. Okay.
Yeah, this was a game where the Greenskin Brawlers just utterly crushed and killed... effectively killed 2 players, because Francis Drake, my Saurus, died and then was appoed into a Niggle, and then Puff immediately afterwards, the Legend Saurus on that team, died. So he fired Francis Drake for being a traitor, I think, and now is down half of his friends.
Wow. Okay. So like the Lizards literally never had the ball. They performed 51 blocks and only managed to turn those into like 4 KOs and 1 casualty, whereas the Greenskin Brawlers performed 30 blocks and turned that into a death, 3 casualties, and 2 KOs.
You make it sound like a dance. I perform a block.
I mean, they do perform a block. It's a block action.
I know, it's so technical.
You're welcome, I guess. I mean, yeah, it looks like the Orcs just kind of like demolished the Lizard in this one. Had the game like totally in their control through the vast majority of the game. Lizards, despite getting a boatload of blocks, didn't actually manage to really accomplish anything with them.
A lot of that is frenzy, though. Remember,
that's true.
Rolling Red's block dice are always really high.
There's
it's still likely that he outblocked the Orcs, but probably not to the degree that it looks like.
And then we have Tessa and Jimothy Burrito.
We predicted the Chaos would win, and Jimmy Burrito actually pulled it out. So
yeah, Jimmy did message me about this one and said that it was a bit of an upset and not too much of a dicing, but it's coming from the person who won, so who knows if we can trust that.
I mean, it does look like Thick, Rich, and Creamy did not do the punching game, and in fact were the ones getting punched.
Yeah, it does look that way. Maybe we can believe it.
Let's see, regen. Conspiration doesn't have regen. Jimmy Burrito made 75% of his regen rolls. So it was only 4, so it's not that much variance, but at that point, like when only one of the injuries stuck, or 2, I guess, because one of them must have been a ghoul.
Yeah. 5 casualties and 1 KO sustained versus 2 casualties and 4 KOs. The Chaos just never really had the ball. So it looks like despite getting punched, Jimmy did a good job of keeping the ball sort of under his control, either with his team or in a way that the Chaos couldn't actually get to it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that happens, like the Necro can find convenient ways to tie up the Chaos, and the Chaos are forced to roll like a 3+ to go catch up to the Werewolf that is now like marking the ball or threatening their ball, and they fail that 3+. Like, you can easily put Chaos in a position where it's throw this 3+ or lose the game, and if they 1-9 it, that's it.
Yeah.
That's all she wrote.
Yeah, with a 0-1 scoreline and the Chaos never really having the ball. I don't know exactly the details, obviously, but it seems to me that on the Chaos drive, the Necro are able to do some shenanigans, either sack the ball early or just prevent the Chaos from getting to it at all, which can make the Chaos life pretty difficult. So well done for the Jimmy for managing to make that, to recognize that and push that sort of advantage. And we have Cheese versus Anime, not an Anime Sports Team, which we did watch, so we don't need to reiterate that game. But after those, nobody has played yet, so this is the real standings for Div 1. We've got Travel Scrabble and Atomics and Archangel tied for first currently with 2-1-0. No losses yet for any of them. Nobody with a completely winning-only record, though. Then we have Arch Excel and A-Grain right behind that with 2-0-1. Then there's Professor Chaos, myself, Jimmy Burrito, and Tessa, all with the average scoreline of 1-1-1. So there's a lot of catching up to do. I mean, you need to get all the way down to 10th place in a 13 or 14 person division before you even see a team with more than one loss. So everything's still really tight in Div 1, but that's the nature of Div 1. There's a lot of coaches that are pretty evenly matched to get here, so you're going to see a lot of nobody running away with it very easily.
Opposite of my div, I think Sace has already played his game and is 4-0, and I'm 3-0, and then there's another elf coach that's 3-0, and then after that it's just like falls off dramatically. We're all fighting for one ticket. So
a lot of the players here are either evenly matched or they have teams that are evenly matched or what have you. So it's like pretty much anybody in this div can beat anybody else. There are no like crazy one-sided matchups. Really, there can be based on races and stuff, right? Sometimes there's going to be a bad matchup for a particular race or what have you, like Nurgle versus what else. But good players in this division certainly. So you see this all the time in Div 1's, just this huge spread of players all relatively evenly matched, and it's going to be quite a race for the finish. So I'm excited to see how it turns out. Speaking of which, we can look at the matches that are coming up this week. So we've got the Bad Apples and Cheese Tactics Mark II.
I picked the Bad Apples because I invested in them.
Well, Cheese has his whole team. There's nobody currently missing, but there are all of those niggles. Bad Apples, A-Grain Super Bowl champion. It's really hard to predict against him.
Let's see. So 2190. Where is A-Grain?
He's 1980.
But he's got a
full team
on a blitzer.
So assume it's 2000. So
he might ditch the Agi 3 Raj lineman. I guess you probably don't.
No matter what, how that works out, he still gets a wizard.
Yeah. So Cheese's orc teams are traditionally pretty good against elves because they do not have claw bloat isn't actually a thing against dark elves, but they do tend to take a lot of tackle and a lot of mighty blow. So Cheese does have 4 tackle.
Mm-hmm.
He does have a ton of palm, a ton of mighty blow, a ton of guard. So it's going to be a tough matchup for the elves, but the elves do have, more blodge than there is tackle, and they have, a wizard.
I think this could easily go either way. Like, I think that's a pretty even matchup, just because orcs good against dark elves, etc. But the thing that puts it in one favor for me is the wizard. Elves, the wizard are always capable of doing things, and Cheese is going to have to be careful to deal with that wizard in a good way. And that's really hard to do. So I think Elves the Wizard are hard to do.
If there was a game to fire Jonah Gold, it might be this one. You could even replace him if you didn't want to use the inducements. So right now you're at 1980. If you ditched him, you'd be at 1870, I should say. 1870 versus 2190.
Welcome along, by the way. Question C. Appreciate the follow.
You get 320k. I guess that's kind of an awkward amount. Like, you get a wizard and then you have 170k. You can get like an Apo and a Babe, or a Bribe and a Babe, but you don't really. Bribes aren't bad against Cheese, it turns out, because of all the niggles kicking around. It's like giving your player dirty player. But,
it's giving your player dirty player twice.
For the double niggle, yes. Most of his players are not double niggled.
No. How much does he have in terms of cash? Because if he gets 150 plus 170, Eldril is 200k. So like, he could, if he fires the player, he could get a wizard, and then Eldril and a wizard for 30k of his own bank.
It's not bad. He's got 130k. I might consider it because I think Jonah Gold is pretty solid most of the time. Like a Raj Agi 3 is not that bad, but against a team with a bunch of tackle, it's a bit of a liability.
It's certainly an interesting match, and it's going to be difficult for both sides. I think we'll have to see how it goes, but yeah. I give the edge to the elves with wizards. 60-40 kind of thing.
And then it is Thessa versus ArchXL. I did pick ArchXL here, though I was really on the fence. I've been meaning to invest in Thessa because I think he's a really good coach. But I think ArchXL can probably take this because elves are usually very good against chaos. High elves do have that speed advantage, but they do, of course, lose their armor against all that claw. Which there is a good amount. And there's a good amount of tackle, too.
That's true. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So another 2 line elves is another 140k, which is going to put him at 1780, so 1750 because he has a 30k
1750 is perfect, and you can get a wizard. So it's ArchXL with a wizard versus Chaos with no bench.
Yeah, that feels like elves to me. I mean, Chaos.
It feels like elves. I think it could go either way. I think it's going to be like a 60-40 game, but I do feel elves in this case.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing as the last one. Then once again, it's what I said with the leaderboard, right? Every match could easily go either way. A lot of people are pretty evenly matched, and it's going to turn out to be a lot of race-based things in one way or another, right? Elves with the wizard are good, so it's hard to vote against them. So I think I'll go with ArchXL as well. Greenskin Brawlers versus Thick, Rich, and Creamy. So we're going to have Professor Chaos's Orcs, and we are going to have Jimmy Burrito's Necro. Man, it's going to be hard to vote against Professor Chaos, seeing what he did to those lizards last week.
He's got the Dark Horse dice. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter.
So, guard, a really solid Orc team. A lot of guard, a lot of strength, couple tackle, couple mighty blow. Really handy Blitzer and Morknast at 1880 versus 1850 Necro.
A nice even match.
Yeah, no real inducements to be said. I mean, there's 30k.
It's usually a tough matchup for Necro, though. Sure, Claw Mighty Blow and Claw Palm are a thing, and that's going to be relevant. He's going to get some removals off of that, but the guard game goes aggressively in the Orcs' favor. The strength game goes aggressively in the Orcs' favor.
The one thing
the Orcs win the bash game.
The one thing that I am pretty concerned about here is that Moldby Blue, the ball carrier for Jimmy Burrito, the ghoul, is out this game.
Literally the only ghoul. He can buy another one, but he would be carrying on a rookie ghoul, which is just
So it's either carry on a rookie ghoul or carry on one of your 2 werewolves, and that's going to limit your threat range quite severely with the Claw Mighty Blow piece. They're good, but when you only have 1 available, it can be quite a bit easier to defend from it than if there are 2 available. So I think just the ghoul being out tips this in the balance of the Orcs for me anyway.
Yeah, it could still totally be swung by regen, by good Kaz dice. If the Orcs lose important pieces, they can crumble really fast for them. But the Orcs are going to be able to base up the Necro with pretty serious aggression. They have a good amount of Mighty Blow to get stuns, and stuns are good enough against Necro.
That's true.
If you stun a few zombies and a Flesh Golem, the Necro suddenly have no line, and then the next turn they're left with very limited options. And sure, they can run away with their wolves, and their wolves are very fast, but it's hard to outrange movement 6 pieces, especially when the movement 6 pieces aren't required on the line to hold it. Orcs, the strength of Orcs is that they can hold a very strong defensive line or even an offensive line while still keeping, threats back to deal with anything that trickles through. So I think I go slightly Orcs, but I think this is going to be a close match.
I go Orcs, and I go slightly more than slightly. The last 2 I think could very easily go either way. I think this one is more like a 70-30 thing for Orcs rather than a 60-40. But yes, let's the next we have the Rowdy Rebel Rousers, Nurgle, and
Nurgle versus Battered Lizards.
Yeah, it's a massive Nurgle team versus some pretty beat up lizards. It goes the way you sort of expect it to here. I mean, Nurgle are good against lizards at high TV just because of all the claw that exists. Lizards are pretty sad when it comes to claw, and Rolling Red has suffered. He's lost a bunch of his Saurus. He still has 5, but one of them is a rookie. It feels.
What are inducements looking like? Let's give this a bit of a
That's
look.
true. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's going to be two skinks, another 120, so it's 1740 versus
1990. That's exactly 250k, so it's exactly Slibbly.
I don't think Slibbly's enough.
Slibbly helps, but if there are some early Kaz from Atomics, which statistically speaking there should be.
I mean,
especially if he goes on offense.
A claw mighty blow is what did you say before? 25% to remove something.
So
if you go first, you're getting 2 guaranteed on the line. So it's 50% to just have a removal.
A dirty player foul is basically a mighty blow. I mean, like if you get a good foul, that's a mighty blow hit, where the mighty blow is almost always going to be used against the injury.
I guess the one thing that I will say is that Atomics lost his like killer Pestigore relatively recently, so he doesn't have the high movement Claw Mighty Blow. So if the lizards can like back off, then he's gonna have to chase them down with Nurgle warriors, and that's not really great. Like you really want that Pestigore to chase down the lone Saurus. So
yeah,
there is that aspect, but I feel like just on average, especially if
this might be a game where you throw skinks onto the LOS actually.
Yeah, it might not actually be a bad idea. I just feel like this is one of those games where, like, if Atomics goes first, he's just going to kind of control it for most of the game, and it's going to be hard for Defend Beast. I mean,
he's facing top of the table Nurgle cheese.
At a second look, it's not as one-sided as I thought it would be. Like, actually looking at the inducements and the players available, my gut reaction was just like, oh, Nurgle. But looking at it,
I think my reaction is still Nurgle. It's just
it still is, but it's less Nurgle.
It's 70 Nurgle instead of 90 Nurgle. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Then we have Rage Dorf versus Fear and Bloating.
Rage Dorf's beefy 15-10 Dorf team, rather.
That's true.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players, so it gets 2 Longbeards at 70k each. So 1650 even versus Fear and Bloating's 1880. So he does get 230k. Tough to use Dorf inducements because they're kind of garbage, but
you do get you can get pretty cheap like idiots to put in the line in like Boomer and Barrack to protect against that claw.
They are out 1 Nurgle warrior, which is nice for them certainly, but there is still 1, 2, 3 Claw Mighty Blow, and a good amount of guard actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, not bad.
If you really want, you could induce that multi-block Dauntless Strength 4 Troll Slayer. Or they're always Dauntless, but the multi-block Strength 4 Troll Slayer.
No.
But I mean, wait, what is the doesn't Ragedorf, what's the oh, they have a security gate. Never mind. Oh, is that other Dorf team?
Unseen Walker is responsible for killing that killer Nurgle.
But there are 2. He can get a bench like really easily with Barrack and like Boomer and stuff to just like chuck on the line to defend and keep his better players available.
Yeah, this is doable for Unseen Walker, but I think he's still the underdog. I kind of want to invest in him, but I don't think
you have no faith. I'm gonna do it. I pick Unseen Walker.
Good. We had to have a contentious pick and did one after all.
That may or may not be part of the reason why I wanted to do that. But the other thing, he's down. He's down one of the Nurgle warriors, which is one of the strength pieces. He's down. It's also one of his guard pieces. So there's a bit of that aspect that certainly helps. But
Archangel's Will versus the Charlestown Chiefs. It's Wood Elves versus Lizards, so the Wood Elves win.
I mean, it's hard to argue that.
These Lizards do not have a sure hands or a block skink. They do have a good amount of tackle, and they've got a good amount of mobility. They've got a ton of mighty blow. So the Lizards are probably going to cause some damage, but if they don't cause enough damage, it's not going to matter because it's going to be Wizard Wood Elves.
Lizard.
He's got 5 players. He can buy someone else though, and he probably will. What else loaners cost?
70k. I imagine he probably he could pick up another War Dancer if he wants to have a second one to start leveling.
6. I mean, he's probably going to do that, but let's just assume he doesn't. 6 times 70k. It's 420, so he's 16.
1620. That's
1740. So he's not actually at a wizard unless he
spends
spends some of his bank.
not
Oh no,
much,
wait, never mind. The lizards are actually at 1800. So
so
he is
wizard.
at a wizard.
What else?
I think he can do dancer and wizard without losing too much bank. I mean, other than the war dancer.
I mean, what elves with a wizard? With players like he who catches unseen, Savari, and Drastia.
I mean, particularly against lizards who just struggle mightily against people who can leap into their cage and hit their very vulnerable ball carriers.
I pick the wood elves, and then we have me versus Scooby and the gang. It's going to be hard to pick anybody but Scooby and the gang here, really. I think. I mean, the Agi 5 Wolf, the Strength 4 Wolf, the Strength 4 Agi 4 White. Like, there's just so many stats on this Necro team.
Yeah, I mean, normally I'd like Nurgle in this matchup. It's hard for Necro, but this Necro team is going to crush you.
There's just so much good on that Necro team, and there's not a lot of good on my team. Like, I don't have the players to deal with his players.
You're at 1990. No, he's actually got you. He's like, you guys are roughly at the same TV.
I get 20k, but that doesn't matter.
And he can ditch 30k in cash even. So.
And I mean, and I'm not going to spend any money because I have been trying to get enough money to buy a new Nurgle warrior since the start of the season, and I've only managed to accumulate 80k in winnings over the last 3 games.
Well, you've got 4 Nurgle warriors.
Yes, but I've also got a double niggled Nurgle warrior that I would really like to get rid of.
Just let him die naturally. Nido kidney disease needs to go out.
I mean, he probably will, which means that I need enough to buy another one. So in any case, I'm really trying hard to save up for one, and it's been impossible because I keep rolling ones, and then getting it eaten by. Yeah, it's hard to pick me. I mean, I'm going to try.
No,
but
Steak has voted against himself every week, other than against you, which is like very classic Steak.
Nope. But I've also been right. So. Turns out I kind of know my own team a little bit here. I mean, I beat Cheese. I tied against the other one that I thought I was going to lose, which was
You can't vote for ties, so
yeah. Yeah, so that was the other Nurgle team. Which, to be fair, I thought I was going to lose, but he rolled an unlucky double skull at one point, which let it be a tie.
Right. It's 10:30,
and I was going to lose against Archangel no matter what.
You were.
Yeah, this is going to be a really hard one for me. So I don't predict me, but I would love to win it. But it's unless I get crazy lucky removals, it's not going to happen. So, oh man, and then I play Tessa. I'm going to have a rough couple weeks, I think. Anyway, let's bring up the title screen. That has been us. We are done for this week. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the week 3 recap. We will be back next Thursday for week 4. Thanks everybody for watching, and until next Thursday, I've been Steakmittens.
And I'm Shadorra.
And we will see you guys then. See you later, folks.